Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Letoya, Luckett. Yeah, this is going to be a good one right here.
Oh, man.
She rose to fame.
Oh, my God.
In the late 1990s.
I cannot.
As a founding member of the girls group Destiny's Child. One of the world's greatest selling groups of all time. Say, I was checking out your Wikipedia, and it said she rose to fame.
She rose to fame.
You didn't just come into fame, you rose.
I rose.
Yeah, you rose to fame.
Oh, man, I need to read that.
And I know it's got to be a good feeling for you to rise to fame, to come into the success that you've attained thus far. But I don't know if you have any type of concept of how good it feels for people who have watched your ascension.
Oh, my God. What we not finna do is cry today. We're not crying.
It's so really, really beautiful to watch your growth.
Thank you. Know what I'm saying? Thank you.
And all of you girls, because y'all, your family to me, because I've been knowing you since you was like 11 or so.
Yeah, 10. You have been around since the beginning.
Yeah, so it's quite amazing to see that all of the people that you work. I was looking at some of the people that you work with, man. You I try to not be friends with that many people because I don't want to go to all of the birthday parties and all of their kids' birthday parties and anniversary parties. And, a lot of damn people. Like you work, not just know, but you work with a whole lot of people. Yeah. And I was checking out an interview that you did. I think it was, what was it? Maybe Tamron. I can't remember.
Tamron Hall. I love her.
And you was talking about working with Mary J. Blige, how she gave you a shot on that stage as a solo artist to open up for her.
Yep.
Like, what was the main takeaway from that moment?
Oh, Mary has so much freedom on stage. She's one of the very few artists that goes up there and you can feel the emotion. Like, you come to a Mary show to feel. You come to a Mary show to have that girlfriend moment where you can just, cry, laugh, shout, all of those things. And I think the main thing that I took away from that experience is to just go on stage and share, let go, be free to be who you are and be okay with not being perfect all the time. I feel like, especially coming up in this industry when we were coming up, and especially in the 90s with artist development, you had to be on point with everything. Your vocal had to be perfect. Your look had to be perfect. The dance routines, the this, the that. And I feel like Mary did that, but she did it in her own way. Like, you know what I mean? Like there is and probably will never be another Mary J. Blige. And she taught me the importance of staying true to yourself. You know what I mean? And also being okay to wear your pain sometimes. You know what I mean? That there's so many other people that might be hurting or struggling with something and feel alone in that. And she is such a powerful artist when it comes to displaying the transparency or the ugly that we all try and hide sometimes. She wears it and she wears it beautifully. Yeah. So I just learned that through watching her. And you never gonna get the same show when you come to a Mary show. Like, she gonna probably sing some of your favorites, but she gonna sing it different every time. Yeah. It feels unscripted. It's a different way of performing. And I'm telling you, you will always catch me in a Mary show. I can always say, as I've been on tour with this woman, and I still get excited to see her perform. because I know that she's going to give me something different every time she hits the stage.
Yeah. That's good to see the people that come up under you, the people who you open doors for, give you your flowers, while you're here, Because a lot of people, they act like they just did it all by themselves. They act like ain't nobody open a door or a window or anything. They think they just stroll right into stardom.
Oh, no, I know everybody to turn the knob.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody to turn the knob for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I appreciate it.
You spoke to being that person that's open about talking about the pain. I guess to an extent it's therapeutic, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so talking about the pain. So how do you balance the dichotomy of speaking about the pain openly and being a private person like you are? Like, as much as people know you, they don't really know you, right? Yeah. So how do you get away with balancing that?
Ooh, that is a gift. To be honest, like I have no problem with, at this point calling it a testimony to everything that I've been through, and all the different times I had to pivot and figure out, what was next for me and all of that. Like, I feel like I have no problem. There's no shame in me talking about my truths. But there's some parts of my life that I choose to protect. And I know that in the society that we live in now, they'll take part of the story and then write the rest the way they want, it to come out, or for it, the way they thought it should have turned out, or what makes it more exciting or messy. Right. And I won't allow you to do that. I choose to protect and keep my truth. And yeah, I think that, like I said, there's nothing wrong with being transparent. There's nothing wrong with being honest. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm having a bad day. Okay. Yeah. And this is something I didn't expect to happen in my life, but here we are, and I'm trying to make the best of it. And here I am crying about mommy guilt. Here I am crying about the divorce. Here I am crying about a breakup. And here I am. But at the end of the day, I'm still here. I'm still here. But yeah, there's some things that I just choose to say, I'm not gonna let y'all write this the way would be more entertaining to you.
Yeah. I've experienced divorce. Tough.
Very
tough when you're serious about it. When you're serious about marriage, that's tough. And you've experienced it yourself.
Yep.
How do you keep going without being jaded, like allowing yourself to become jaded?
I believe that every morning that God decides to wake me up and breathe breath into my body is another opportunity to just show up for myself, regardless of what happened the day before, regardless of, the uncertainty of the future. I just feel like it is such a blessing to have another day, to have more time on my clock. And regardless of things that haven't turned out the way that I hoped for or planned, I feel like God puts me through, or has put me through, certain situations so that I can show somebody or tell somebody, hey man, you everything gonna work out okay. It might be hard right now, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like, if you get up and you keep on going and you keep pushing and you stay motivated, even when you don't feel like it, even when everybody's turned on you, even when absolutely nothing is going right. Like, as long as you are still here, you still have an opportunity to do great things. And I feel I have purpose. I know I didn't go through certain things for nothing, for no reason. I'm actually glad now looking back. I go, thank God that I went through that situation. It made me stronger. It prepared me for this, you know? So yeah, I feel like there's joy in that. Like, people really gotta find joy in life. We hear that all the time. Find your joy, protect your joy. And sometimes you can look and try as hard as you can for the joy, but it's not easy to find sometimes in the midst of the darkness. And I feel like we are living in some dark days, honey. But I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
Like, it's a must. It's how I survive. Is trying to find the joy or the light in the little things, and just in the fact that I'm here. There are a lot of people that didn't wake up this morning. You know?
Yeah. How did you find the light when in between leaving the group and finding your own purpose as a solo artist? Because I know that had to be a tumultuous time, and it had to be a time of uncertainty. Here you are living the dream that you had, like this is what I've always wanted to do. I mean, you're young, but you know, but it took up a lot of space in your mind, like, hey, in your head, like, this is what I want to do, and now you're doing it, and now you're part of something special. This thing is big. It's bigger than that you probably even imagine it might be.
Yeah,
it's big, and then all of a sudden, it's gone. Like, how do you bounce back, and how did you get through it? Like, what was like a major life hack that helped you get through it?
I think for me, I didn't try and understand it.
So you walk by faith, not by sight.
Absolutely.
Huh.
I'm a faither.
Yeah.
I'm a faither all day. You can ask my husband. I be faithing it out here, okay? I didn't try and understand it. I think I was too young to understand it. I mean, that happened when I was 17, 18 years old. I'm 43 years old. Like, and I still, hopefully, God willing, have a lot to learn and live. Many more years, hopefully. But I think it was like, okay, this happened. This is terrible. It feels bad. But this is bigger than me. And I think that the situation is bigger than something. It's a bit more complicated than what it looks like. And I might not even have all the information to be able to put the pieces together to even try and understand it. So I'm not, you know. But I believe, like I said, that I'm still here and I'm still supposed to be doing something. And there was a period when I was like, I don't know what that something is. I didn't know. For a minute, I didn't want to sing anymore. I felt that I didn't have a voice. And I felt also that I didn't know if I could stand on my own, especially when you're a part of such an amazing, powerful group full of beautiful, different voices, and some, obviously, voices that are bigger than your own. And I think for a minute I was like, I don't know if what I have can amount to, or like can, compete with what's out there. And then something was like, bump that. Like, everybody has their own voice. No one sounds the same. That's the beauty of music. You know what I mean? Is the individuality of it all. Like, and so once I got over myself and once I got out of my way, I went into the studio and started recording songs that I didn't go in there going like, I'm finna be the next, or this is this, or I'm seeking revenge. No, indeed. There was not, there wasn't a spiteful, I'm looking for the words, like, I wasn't trying to malicious, like I wasn't going in there angry. And I think when people come out of hurtful situations or situations that didn't turn out their way, they feel like, oh, I'm going to get back. This is how I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make records, angry records. And I'm going to shut it down and I'm going to tell my side. Never.
Like I did.
Oh, you did? See?
When I first started.
Listen.
When I first started, we'll come back to that. But go ahead.
I just ain't that person. I was like, let me talk about what's really going on in my life. I'm going through some heartbreak. Like, my man ain't acting right. Let me just let me talk about what's in front of me, like what I can't control. I would rather let's dive into that. So I went into the studio really. I wasn't certain.
Were you in survival mode?
I was in. Let's see what God can do. I really at some point during that whole process, I learned that I had to get out of the way.
Sounds like you on a journey.
I was, and I'm grateful for this journey. Like when I came out of DC, we were still obviously here in Houston, living with my mom, and I remember hearing this like radio interview, and I noticed, okay, I probably won't be able to stay here. I'm gonna have to get out of the city because I feel like this is where it all began. This is where everyone is, and I don't know if emotionally I can like handle that. So I'm gonna run. So I ran to Atlanta. Thinking I was gonna escape it. They were still in the front of my popcorn bag. They weren't going nowhere. They were all over the radio. There was no escaping this phenomenon. No way. I don't know what I thought I was thinking. I obviously was not thinking. But when I went, I'm grateful that I did because I ended up, me and Elle had tried to start a girls group there. Angel. That didn't work out, Angel. And then I ended up living with my big sis, Adria Wright, who was heavy in the church. And I'm talking about heavy, I'm talking about at the church every day. Like, even when it wasn't nothing to do with the church, we just sit in the parking lot. And I feel like that time, was necessary in my journey because although I wasn't excited about going to church with her all the time, I was like, why we need to go this much? Ain't it? I thought this was just like for Sundays. No, ma'am. And so I ended up falling oh so deeply in love with God all over again. My relationship completely changed. I got a better understanding of who God was, who I was, my growth. I mean, it just so many. I learned that there was life outside of what I had, experienced, outside of the group. Like it was, like God is so much bigger than what you're going through. That's what I learned. It was like this, yes, you might be experiencing heartbreak and all these different things, but God is so much bigger than your problem. And once I learned that, I became confident in myself and confident in my relationship with God. And I think from that, all hell broke loose. There was a fire inside that was lit, and it was like, oh yeah, it's up. And yeah, I feel like looking back now, that had to happen in order for this to happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Was there ever a moment of being conflicted about doing gospel music and secular music? You being so deep into the church and people having their judgment about that?
I did a movie called Preacher's Kid, and I wasn't even thinking this because I know I was confident in my relationship with God. I was raised in the church. My father is a minister. And so I came up in the church. I'm like, everybody knows T love the Lord. Like, there's no question about that. But when I went to do this movie and she played a PK, the church mothers wasn't happy with me. I guess because they knew I sang secular music and they were like, why do they have this secular artist playing, this in this Christian movie? And I was just like, wait a minute, I thought y'all knew I love the Lord. Like, what is happening? And so I think from there, I was like, I'm not going to, it might be a little rough to jump into, singing gospel music. But if ever given the opportunity, I mean, I sing in the shower for the Lord all the time. Mm. Like I sing in the choir for the Lord know my heart. So I would, but I do know sometimes us church folk make it a little hard to cross that line. Some folk don't understand that you can sing about life experiences outside of the church, as long as it's not demonic, but things that people are really out here experiencing and still have a heart for God.
Yeah.
And anybody that knows me knows that I have a heart for God. So yeah, if the opportunity presented itself, I would. But I knew, baby, when I did PK and them church mothers started looking at me like, I said, oh my God, it's getting a little scary. I did not expect that reaction.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sure they warmed up to you.
Oh, they
'Cause
did.
You got that type of effect on people.
Then I did Greenleaf and they hated me even more. And they were like, you sleeping with the bishop. I'm not, that my character is, I am not Rochelle Cross. But the church mothers now love to hate me because, I was in their favorite church show.
Yeah. So I had a similar experience at your old church, Brentwood. Mm-hmm. So I go to, I don't go to church because I'm making this secular music. And I'm making some real secular music, right?
I mean,
And so I don't want to go because I think I got to be perfect if I'm going to church. I'm thinking like I can't be doing nothing wrong if I go to church. I can't do nothing inconsistent.
That's why you
with
go.
the word, right? But that was my thinking as a youngster, right? Yeah. So I walk in and this guy goes, Willie D, man, hey man, what's up? Man, what you doing here? like I had some damn horns on me or something. I was like, man, what you doing here? I said, I'm doing the same thing you doing here.
Right.
So I'm trying to hear the word, brother, trying to get saved. He said, oh, okay, yeah, man. Hey, man, good to see you, man. I said, yeah, good to see you. Damn. I don't want, but that's why church folks be getting such a bad rap. That hypocrisy, man, that hypocrisy. And what's going on with all of this crazy stuff that's happening in church, people fighting, people cussing in church.
Oh man, I was hoping that was this is so funny. I saw something on Instagram the other day where these two ladies were fighting or arguing in church, and they said it ended up being a play, or it was on YouTube. There's like a whole full video, and whatever was happening in praise and worship service was supposed to kind of lead into the story that the sermon the pastor was preaching later on. So that was supposed to be like a play. It wasn't a for real thing. So that's what I heard, but it's up in it's up in church. People are definitely expressing themselves a little different than when I was going as a kid. But I mean, I'm a church girl at heart. I know that's a whole separate, different conversation. But regardless, I feel of who's in the pulpit and what's going on around me in the pews, I try and go to church as often as I can. I want my children to know the importance of going to fellowship with other churchgoers. Of course, nobody likes the judgment. Nobody wants to be judged. Nobody should be judging. Let's start there. Because ain't nobody perfect. The perfect one died how many thousands of years ago? Okay, so if nobody's in Jesus, if you ain't Jesus and you can't raise your hand, then everybody should just calm down a bit. Settle down.
You sound like a kindergarten teacher. Right?
Jesus is not, he's present in our hearts, but he is not here on earth. He died many years ago and he was the only perfect one. So let's
break
just...
it down. Put it on a rudimentary level.
You know. With a real Jesus, please stand up. Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to take you back. Do you remember a conversation that we had when you guys had left the group? And, well, this is before you left the group. And you said that you and Latavia, You and Latavia. You and Latavia.
I was like, maybe it's a nickname, but go ahead.
Yeah. But you and Latavia was not wanting to leave the group. Y'all just wanted to have your own management. Do you remember that conversation?
Yes.
And I told you not to leave that group. Don't do that. And I said that ain't gonna work.
You probably did say that.
Yeah.
You probably did say that.
So, because something like that never works. Like if there's a group, then you got to have one manager. Because otherwise, this manager gonna be over here doing this. this manager.
It's going to get confusing.
But I realized that perhaps.
And Matthew ain't finna co-manage with nobody. I love Matthew to death.
Yeah,
I love
and I don't want to. And I'm glad you mentioned you said that because I want to make sure that I don't want you to get into specifics or whatever.
Oh yeah, and I'm not.
This person did this. That,
no,
I don't want to get into none of that. What I'm trying to do is get information and instructions for people that are listening.
Yes,
there are other artists out there today that are aspiring artists, and that was my gift to you as an artist, as a fellow artist, to say, hey, because of my experience, because I know I left the Ghetto Boys too soon. I ended up going back. My spot was still available when I.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so I ended up going back, but I did leave too soon before I established myself all the way as that guy, right? So when you were talking about leaving, I was saying to myself, I was thinking that, was it the lawyers that were saying, y'all need to do this, do the whoop? It was the lawyers.
We were 7.
Because the lawyers
I make this very clear.
They don't have a dog in the fight, really.
No, and so we were so young.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we were young, and I feel like we didn't have all the information. I feel like we were kids trying to play in an adult game. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And not really knowing how that would have an effect on the group. I think that we desired one thing, or just we wanted to be heard, or wanted, to have there to be more communication. Right. And there's a way that you go about expressing that. And I think that the adults in the situation handled it the adult way. And with us being children, we didn't understand the repercussions, or, how this could have an effect on our futures.
Yeah.
And we've talked and everything since then. Everybody kind of wished things could have happened differently, or things could have been communicated differently. But I think, like you said, to anybody which I wish there were more groups now. I don't know why we going away from groups.
Yeah.
I know record labels and folks ain't signing groups. It's a bigger budget, all these different things. But I love groups, and I have such an appreciation for, especially singing groups, the harmonies, getting to pick your favorite one. You know what I mean? All of that. Yeah. I don't see a lot of that as much anymore.
That. Boy,
we had that, and so
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Voices, I'm talking about beautiful voices, beautiful faces, beautiful personalities, beautiful work ethic. Like, that was like, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna be straight up. It took me a while to get used to, you guys not being in the group. It took me a while, but obviously, my love for the other girls who were still in the group, won me over. Yeah. But yeah, man, that was like, I think I may have went to therapy 2 or 3 times.
Now we sent you to therapy. Really? What?
I think I may have went to therapy, man.
Well, you was on. Like, for real, you were for real there since we were 11, 12 years old. You were I remember you coming to studio sessions. Yeah. You were like, kind of like our god dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you were always coming in to check on us and make sure we were straight, and you was definitely wanting to make sure, hey, don't y'all be out here messing with no boys. Don't y'all, you were like a godfather to us, And so if I haven't said it before, thank you. I appreciate you for all the knowledge, the wisdom that you gave us during that time and even after. And I'll just say, like, I feel like there was already things stirring and brewing, and I don't know if that just kind of helped to tip things over the cliff. But I can also say I am grateful that it happened the way that it did, because I don't know if my life would have turned out the way it's turned out. I am so happy in my life. I am so grateful that, of all the relationships that I've been able to attained since all this happened. Like, even to have the experiences as a solo artist, or just to have to believe in myself and push hard the way I don't think I would be as strong as I am had I not gone through that experience. I don't think that I would be the woman of God that I am, the prayer warrior that I am. I wouldn't have learned the importance of prayer. I wouldn't have learned the importance of faithing it and trusting in God and having to lean. I mean, we had something incredible. And I don't know, I'm not saying that took me away from my faith, but when you're consumed in something, that's your world. Me learning and coming out of that and learning that thing that was something bigger than that thing, that massive, wonderful experience. I think that's what has molded me into the Letoya Luckett Coles you know today. Like, I don't think I would have the same personality. I don't even want to know. I just feel like I'm so grateful. I mean, obviously they have all gone on to do amazing things. But so have I. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
And I've never been a by myself type of person. But there are a lot of things that I went on to accomplish by myself that probably that little girl from Harlem Clark would have never thought she could do in a million years on her own.
Yeah.
I think that things happen the way they're supposed to. And I can say that through that journey, I always mess this up, but there's a story in the Bible about God being on a boat, Jesus being on a boat with some of the disciples, and the waves were crashing, and they started to become afraid, and Jesus was sleeping. As the storm was stirring, Jesus was getting rest. And I feel like when I eventually came to him and said, hey, things is rocking and shaky out here, the peace that I got throughout that journey, I know I could have, I know that had I not had my faith in God or felt that covering, I probably would have been a little bit more jaded from everything that was going on around me. But he allowed me to feel a peace and to gain a strength that I don't, there's no way that I would not have wanted to experience that. Like, if having to go through this breakup gets me there, fine.
Right. No, I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Outside of your career, what mistake have you made in your personal life that you're glad you made?
That's a great question, Willie. Wait a minute. What mistake am I glad that I made in my personal life?
In your personal life.
Whew. I mean, I can't say, yeah, a relationship didn't work out, but I got 2 amazing children. I can't call it a mistake.
Interview over. That's it. That's over. Say,
like, I can't call it a mistake. Like, how do you call that a mistake?
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Why is it that more people don't get that? Like, I see a lot of people complaining about breakups, and some people hold on to it for decades, that break up for decades.
Boy, do I know.
And when they have children, to me, it's especially sad when you have children because they act like there was no good times.
Oh, no, it had to be.
I don't, like, I'm the type of person that take my bitter with my sweet. Mm-hmm. And so whatever that is, I can take my bitter with my sweet. And so it's the same thing in relationships. There's good times, there's some bad times, but what we invariably do as humans, we focus on, we get locked in on the bad times, the things that went wrong, the things that went awry, the things that didn't work out like we wanted them to work out. And we just like forget about the good times. I mean, especially if you got a couple of kids, you know what I'm saying? There had to be some good times.
Had to be.
You know what I'm saying? There had to be some good times. So I just don't get it when people do that. It's like, I got two. Look, I'm divorced, but man, I got two amazing kids out of the deal. That's how I won. I won.
Big.
I got two amazing kids out of the deal.
Yes.
And their mother was part of that, the big part of that,
Massive.
right? She delivered them, you know what I'm saying? So I could never hate her to the extent that I see some of these people hating their children's other half.
I don't get it.
I could never do that because her blood runs through my children's veins. And if something happened to her, they would be devastated. Now, how in the hell can I say I love my kids and hate that from which they came?
You need to do a seminar on that from a male's perspective, because
perhaps we need to do a seminar.
We do, because I can't.
Yeah.
And you might not even like co-parenting with this person. You might not be in a space where you've totally healed from that thing yet. But I don't think that I would be where I am in life if I stayed in bitterness, if I stayed in this unhappy, where did it go wrong? Like, what? Move on with your life. Move on. Just keep going. Like, yes, things didn't work out the way that you wanted them to. You obviously did have love for this person. You walked down the aisle with them. You took some vows in front of the Lord. You invited folks. Y'all fed them. Served them some drinks. So there was happiness at some point.
Plays, you went to concerts. You went to reunions.
You did all of that.
Parties, vacations.
Yes.
All of this stuff. Even you was even there when that person was at their lowest. And you were there when that person's side of the family, lost life.
Yeah.
Y'all held each other up.
Yeah.
Those moments, man.
People get stuck in grief, though, Willie.
Yeah.
People get stuck in grief. They get stuck in their plan not turning out the way they thought it would be. So the unhappiness and the grief that thing died, they mourn it and they grieve it for decades. And they get stuck. Like, I know people, I can talk to them, and they are still stuck in that devastation that happened 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Yeah. They're as far as maturity, their brain can't see past or function past whatever this year that this happened. There are some people that are still have trauma that they experienced in the 4th grade, and they still kind of operate at a 4th grade level. And I'm like, how can you... That's not living to me. You died with whatever that thing was. You died with that marriage. You died with that breakup. You died with that your loved one. You can't live and function and expect to have joy and find new love and new life and new experiences if you are still grieving, or you've let yourself die, a part of you die, a big part of you die with that thing, that disappointment.
Yeah.
I think that's what the difference is. You asked me at the beginning of this, like, how do I keep going? I didn't die with that breakup. My talent didn't get buried with that breakup. I continue to live past that traumatic experience and became okay with it, and I accepted it. That's the other thing. You got people that have been through a trauma or a divorce or a something, and they still, although they like, I'm good, they haven't even accepted that they're divorced from this person. They haven't accepted that this person is no longer with us. Acceptance is a big part of growing in that grief. You know what I mean? Getting past that thing. And it is not easy. And a lot of things are harder to grieve than others. But I do know some people that are stuck. And it's unfortunate. because it's hard. They might have a happy moment. They might have, they might find some joy. They might be in a new relationship. They might, get that new job, whatever it is. And if you talk to them for a little bit, about 10 minutes in that conversation, that old thing gonna come up. That ex gonna come up, and they gonna be talking bad about them, right. Or they gonna be talking about the last job. Well, see, they best be glad. I'm glad. Right. You can see they still operating in that angry space. You know what I mean? And they haven't really even accepted the full blessing or the joy that they could find in that new thing, because they are really still stuck in that old thing. Yeah. They haven't graduated or they haven't gotten over it. And to be told to get over something can be tough, especially when you're in grief.
How much of your mother is in you?
I mean, she had me.
I mean, as far as her values and her character, the way she moved.
I think a good part of that, my mom always taught me about like the value of kindness, and she is definitely one of those people. You better dust yourself off and keep going. She is that. And she said that, especially when I was going through, like, what's the next thing? Let's when I was in the studio with my brother and we were trying to find new songs, Gavin. Yeah. And she was out trying to shop me a deal. She was out taking meetings with attorneys. She was like, okay, let's get this thing going again. I have that in me. But I'm also my own person. I also have had so many different experiences. Some the same, divorce, obviously. But I've had this generation, our generation is a little different than our parents' generation. Like, I've been in therapy since I was like 16, 17 years old. My mom actually found my therapist. I was going for claustrophobia, but that conversation ended up turning into something else. Thank you, Lord. we only talked about claustrophobia for about 10 minutes. Next thing you know, I'm crying, box of tissue about my childhood and the group and everything else. I'm like, I didn't have me to talk about this. And I think when they were coming up, you had to keep all that to yourself.
That was taboo.
Yeah, you couldn't share, what was going on in the home. You had to protect the family. So, I feel like I deal with things, different than the ones before me, my parents, my grandparents. I think we all do, because we have to. Right. This is a different machine. This is a different world that we're living in than, the one they came up in. I have her smile. I have her sense of fashion when it comes to like always wanting, especially with home decor and stuff like that. My mom always made sure that, things were nice in the house and just wanting to see things, be beautiful. Like I have that. Yeah. Definitely have that side of her.
Yeah. Speaking of fashion, what happened to Lady L?
Oh, and then speaking of my mom, because she ran that business, we decided, because things were changing, especially social media, like, why have all this overhead when you could really just go online? Mm-hmm. So in the process of us saying, all right, you know what, let's just close the stores and just become straight online store and all of that. Unfortunately, my grandmother had dementia and my mom became a full-time caretaker. I was living in LA at the time, so we just got caught up in a rapture. It just never happened.
How long did it take you to get over the arrogance of having a brick and mortar? Because, we want to have
I build it.
This is my thing. You see your name up there.
Yeah, in lights.
Somewhere you can walk inside. I got
over that quick.
thinking about that.
I started thinking about that
agreement.
lease agreement. I said, you know what? They can have it. I didn't see my name in lights
And
before.
you like in the richest
I
area
was
of Houston,
what?
all of Houston,
Uptown
like,
Park,
Galleria, man.
next to the tasting room at the time. Like it was Ferraris and Lamborghinis parked out front the store. It was a good look.
Yeah.
But that's all it was. That's all it became after a while. Like, okay, this is a good look. Let's be smart about this. Let's use our wisdom. And if we can make the same amount of money or more online without the overhead, then we're going to do that. Yeah.
A night before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
How much of Mercedes has been in your life at any point?
Oh my gosh. She was one that just kind of like was obviously about her business, but I think that she was always on I call it the hamster wheel, like when you just going and going, or the treadmill, you're moving, you're running, you're walking, you're trying to get all these things done, but sometimes you still stay stagnant, or you miss so many things because you're you don't want to miss anything, but sometimes you're missing the most important things, which is family for me. So I feel like I learned lessons from Mercedes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I learned a lot of lessons from playing that character. And now being a mom and a wife, like outside of God, don't nothing come before that. You know, we were talking before, like, yes, I'll have a great opportunity, but if it means I got to miss a Christmas play, you know, if it means I got to miss my daughter or my son's birthday, a moment I can't get back, then yeah, nah.
Hollywood.
It's just what it is.
Have they ever tried to make you do something strange for a bit of change?
Oh yeah, we get them in breakdowns all the time. Like as for acting, for shows and stuff like that.
How many times do they try to get you to take your clothes off? Because I know.
Oh yeah, they want to see that, and especially now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You got to show it all. You got to do a little. You got to do something strange for the change.
How you respond to them when they ask you?
It's a no.
Those type of questions.
It's a no. I just, like we also talked about keeping some things private. Like I just would rather not. Movie making, show making is an art. It's a beautiful thing. And I think that there's absolutely nothing wrong if you're okay with, you know, doing certain types of scenes and, you know, having to take something off or whatever. There are some people that have no problem with that. And when I say more power to them, baby, you better go ahead. Yes, indeed. But I never want to be made to feel uncomfortable. Like if you're telling me that this is what this requires, like I have to, and I'm not comfortable with showing that, and then it turns into a thing, then we have a problem. Like I just am one that just like, I don't want my kids to look up on the internet and be able to see something that'll never go away. You know what I mean? And so there's some things that I want Gianna to only see me and Talio do. Like, you know, we are very huggy. We say, I love you. And that comes, of course, in movie making. You're going to see, you know. But I want them to know that, you know, this is sacred. This is for husband and wives. Of course, not saying they don't need to say all the other things. No. But, you know, I want them to know that what mommy does at work and when she's on screen, I want them to know that, no, this is what she really has with Talio. You know what I mean? The love, the way he cares for me, the way he opens the doors, all those things. Like, I want them to know that there is a difference.
This is real.
This is real.
This is fake.
This is fake, yeah.
Yeah. Because, yeah, Hollywood, boy, there's some riding scoundrels. You know, I know they tried you. because they try every woman.
Absolutely.
You know, they try
especially a black woman. It makes it more interesting.
Right. And the thing is that it has nothing to do with art. It has more to do with humiliation. They want to be able to say, "Ha, we made her take her clothes off.
Mm-hmm.
We just stroked a big enough check. Ha, we made him wear a dress. Ha 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 ha. Ha. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, we made him kiss a man. That type of stuff. Oh yeah, they look forward to that. So, you know,
Yeah, nah, that ain't going over here.
I'm glad you're standing on business.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're standing.
I literally just got an email from my agent and it was like, "Are we still? This is still a no, right?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a no.
the agent checking her.
I just want to see if you're still. No, we're still. Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a no.
Right.
Mm-mm.
How often do you talk to the other girls?
Oh man.
And no disrespect, ladies. You know I love all y'all.
No,
women,
we.
But, you know, you still.
We be
family.
randomly FaceTiming each other. Yeah. I could be at the gym. I could be whatever, and boop, FaceTime from Kelly comes in. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so cute. You know what I mean? Sending pictures of our kids to each other. Oh my God, they get so big. Da, da, da. Like we still, keep in touch with each other. B, I'm so proud of her. Everything that she's doing. I'm proud of her family. To see Blue just.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's for real, almost a teenager. Yeah. What is happening? Yeah. It's just amazing.
I thought she was a teenager.
She's 12. Ain't she 12?
I thought she was 13. Okay.
I think she's 12. Blue is not 13.
Yeah,
let me Google. How old is Blue Carter?
Yeah, check it out.
How old is Blue Ivy Carter? Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know, right? I could have sworn.
It's Blue Ivy.
Let's see. 12.
Okay. When's her birthday?
She was born in 2012, January 7th. A few days before Gianna. Gianna's from January 4th.
So she's almost.
Gianna and Mama Tina got the same birthday.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Miss Tina and G got the same birthday. Yep.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I knew. I'm like, I could have sworn she was 12 years old. And I'm not, my math don't always be mathing. Yeah.
You spent a lot of time around Tina when you was younger.
Yes.
What kind of life lessons did she tell you?
About being a lady.
Yeah.
And keeping yourself, the importance of self-love, self-value, and just the way to carry yourself. And, Miss Tina's very, hair's always going to be done, nails, face. It's always giving.
How surprising is it to you that Tina is on social media?
Oh, my God. It is. And part of me feels like, okay, this is so her personality because she's a very colorful person. Mm-hmm. Lots of personality and loves to laugh, loves to make jokes, loves fashion. So it makes sense. But I also know how the Knowles family roll.
Right.
So it's also very private over there. It's very shush.
Right.
But Tina don't care. She's like, this is what's going on with my day, and here we are, and I'm gonna make my joke of the day, and this is what I got on. Ain't I cute? I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like to see her also.
And she gonna stand by her kids.
Yeah,
she gonna stand what? She gonna stand on her business. Don't y'all think Miss Tina ain't finna be in these comments or come for you if you come for B or Solange.
Yeah.
That's the other part that I love. She's still that mama that's gonna rock you if you decide to have, have something to say or, put out false information about her children. You better go ahead.
I like seeing her move because she seems happy.
She is. I can see it with her. She actually attended our wedding and
she has a glow.
Yes. She was like, this is love. But she said before we got married, she was like, he the one.
Yeah.
She's like, I love y'all together. Y'all look so cute. And I could just tell, I love that with everything she's been through, she still believes in love.
Right.
She hasn't allowed those things to taint her, thought of like real love. She's not bitter. And I love that. And I love to see it on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she definitely looks happy.
You too.
Thank you. I am.
You too.
I is.
Yeah, yeah. When I met Talio, I was like, yeah, it looked right.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? It looked right. The energy, the way that y'all energy when y'all together, it looks right.
It is. Yes.
How does the kids take to Talio?
Love them.
Yeah.
Love them. That was one of the main things I, obviously looked for. I was like, how are they going to interact? And I remember we were in D.C. at my sister's house, and me and my sister were running out to go to a restaurant, and my mom was still in the house, but she was busy with some things. And so he was like, no, go ahead on. I got him. I was like, huh? What you mean? No, he was like, I'm cool. And they ran over to him. Like, they didn't cry when I left. They weren't like, Mommy, where you going? They didn't care. He was, they were playing some game and they were enjoying themselves. And when I came back, they was both like on his lap and just kind of relaxed. And I think they were doing some, oh God, what do you call that? The dolls that you put in water and then you get a treat once it dissolves kind of thing, whatever that thing is called. They were comfortable. I could see that they were comfortable with him. And that was like his first time meeting them. And from that point on, like anytime he would come to the house, the way they would run to greet me, they would run to greet him. Sometimes they run to greet him before they run to greet me. And I was like, oh, I like this. I mean, he's such an amazing human being. The way he does homework with them, the way he's up fixing breakfast for them, packing their lunches, takes them to school every morning. Like, he's just a wonderful, if my mom would have remarried after my father, that's the kind of man I would have wanted her to marry. You know what I mean? When G cries, especially for a little girl, he'll go over and gently kneel to her level and say, what's wrong? Are you okay? Like, and the way she hugs around his neck and the way Tyson takes to him, it just...
Is there a difference in the way that he responds to G when she is going through something and the way that he responds? Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely more... He's a little softer with G. And then with Tyson, he's still soft with him. He's not one to be like, boys don't cry. He's not that. But he is more firm.
And how do you feel about that?
I'm okay with it because I know...
They take exception to that.
He's not... He don't get out of line with my kids. And I appreciate that. And he also is the type to be like, okay, I'm going to have your mother step in on this. Once it gets to a certain point, if he can't get them together, he'd be like, okay, I'm going to get your mom. You know what I mean? But with Tyson... He lives in the house with him. Like, I feel like a boy needs a man in his life. And they have a great father. They love their father. You know what I mean? So I think it's wonderful. I feel like, first of all, it takes a village. I've had so many amazing women outside of the amazing mom that I already have to instill some amazing jewels into me. You know what I mean? And teach me things. So I feel that when you have, and make sure you vet them out first, but if a child has an opportunity to have a village of people to love them and care for them and find comfort in them, why not? And I feel like boys growing up nowadays need a great deal of good, strong, firm men to teach them how to walk as a man. Yeah. I can teach him a lot of things. I cannot teach Tyson Walker how to be a man.
Yeah. If you could make a song, if you could make a song about your life, what would the title of the song be? And how would it start off?
Oh, you thought about these questions.
You are a songwriter. I know that for a fact.
Really? You thought about these questions on the way here? You thought about them?
Yeah.
You wrote them down.
I have thought about
You probably practiced them in the mirror.
I don't practice in the mirror.
Now, when I ask her this, these are some really great questions.
But I do want to. I would like to know if you could write a song about your life. You're a songwriter. First of all, I didn't even know you was that prolific of a songwriter.
Well,
I didn't
thank
even
you.
know that. And then I found out that you won Songwriter of the Year for ASCAP one year. So you know how to write. So you got it. You got the tools.
Thank you.
If you could write a song about your life, what would the title be, and how would you start it off? First few words.
First few words. Now you putting me to work, Willie. I mean,
give me the title first.
it's so many words. I feel like oh man, a lot of people say that I'm resilient because of things that I've been through and found my way out of. And somehow I'm still standing, I'm still here, I still am a happy person. I find joy in things. And so it would be a song about resilience. But it would be a song about gratitude. And I think that it would have a lot to do with gratitude. And I'll say this: I performed recently, and I was scared because this was going to be the first time performing, and not performing any of my songs. I was performing Christmas songs, which, who sings Christmas songs every day? How am I going to remember these lyrics? Like, I was terrified. And I remember telling my husband, I was like, babe, I think I'm going to have to find gratitude, like, to replace the fear that I'm having. Grateful that I'm was even asked to perform for the city of Houston, as, for the mayor, for all these things, like finding the good. I think that that's what my song would be about.
Finding the good.
Or I'm glad. Like it would be based around gratitude. And I'm sure the first, if not in the first verse or in the hook, it would be something about I'm thankful. Another day, another sunrise, another time for wind to brush past my skin and to feel the wind, to feel the light of God, to feel again.
How did you and Teddy come up with Torn?
And Dave Young.
And Dave Young, yeah. So you and Dave wrote it, right?
Yeah.
And then Teddy produced it.
Yes.
Yeah. How did y'all come up with that song?
I'm going to give a lot of that credit to Dave Young, because I remember being at Roscoe's, eating my good chicken and waffles, and he had like a majority of the hook done. And he had already, come up with the Torn in between the two. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And I rushed over. I put my chicken down. Y'all, I put my chicken down, okay? If you know me and my greedy tail, Toya put her chicken down. I ain't even put it in the doggy bag. I just put it down and we ran out. And I knew we had something different when we started going into a part of me. Like, a part of me wants to leave you alone, but a part of me wants for you to come home. Like, I saw myself in both of those worlds, and it just kept going. It just kept going.
Yeah.
And once we got into that pocket, it was what you hear today.
Yeah, the protagonist of being torn between leaving and staying with a lover. Mm-hmm. That's heavy, and that's something that all of us have experienced.
Come on.
Or will experience.
I fought with the label on that because they wanted me to come out with an up-tempo at the time. And I remember
Which
sitting.
They usually do. They usually want you to come out with
they want me in the
up-tempo, and
club.
if you got a great slow song, they want you to backdoor with a slow song.
That should have been the second single. They were like, no, that's a great second single. I was like, no, it's not. No, I want people to feel. I want me, when I come back out, I want people to be able to go, oh my, that's my homegirl. That's my cousin. That's my best friend. That is like, I've been through that. I didn't want people to feel alone in their experiences with love. And I knew that a song like that, I mean, there would be so many people who could definitely say that they've experienced that 1 or 2 times in their life.
Well, you definitely proved that, because that's indicative of the sales and the amount of attention that you got from the song. But having said that, what do you think about the people who are against women making songs about hope in relationships?
Who is that?
Women. I've heard enough. Like a lot of times when women hear women talk about patching it up and going back to them, and she's a fool, she's crazy, da 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 da.
I can see that.
They want to hear something where the woman is saying, "F you."
Yeah, because
I can do it all by myself.
Misery loves company. Misery loves company. I don't know why we're like this sometimes, but some of us like just being sad. The folk that's stuck, that can't, seem to climb out of that grief or climb out of that hurt and that pain, and they want to live in that and stay in that. That kind of music, like, feels good when you're going through, because you feel like, dang, I feel her, man. Like, she went through it. Toya went through it too. You know what I mean? She trying to decide whether she want to stay with this fool or not. Like, people, as much as we want to be happy and as much as we want to, find love again and be happy, that's not always the fun, everybody don't want to buy that. Everybody don't want to hear that all the time. They are like, because especially if they're not experiencing that, they don't want to hear that you are, Yeah,
that's crazy to me.
It is crazy.
Because, even when I was single and Valentine's Day would come along, and I would be online and seeing people post their Valentine's Day tributes, and they'll have their images of them and their significant other and all that stuff, and I just be naturally happy for them. Like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I swear to God,
because you're not a hater.
Yeah, I'm not. I never once looked at that and said and frowned at it, because I like to see love.
Me too.
I love to see love.
Me too.
That song you had called, what's the name of that song?
What it start with? How it go with it?
I'm finna get it.
If you sing it, I'm going to.
She ain't got. That song right there was super, super dope.
Thank you.
Super dope.
Thank you to Chris Brown.
Yeah.
He wrote that record.
Chris wrote that song?
Yeah.
That song is super hot. Like,
I'm always eating a waffle when greatness happens. I promise you. I wasn't at Roscoe's this time, but I was at another restaurant called Toast in LA, and I got a call from my label, and they said, Chris Brown is here to see you. I said, for what? For what? What's happening? I'm eating my waffle right now. And they were, you can't be for real. And they were like, no, he's here. He has a song for you. And I came back up. This time I packed up my waffle, and I brought it to the studio at the label, because we had ran through that budget so crazy. The first time around that I was going in for my second album, Lady Love, that I ended up having to record the rest of my album like in the Capitol Studios. And I'm not talking about the real legendary one downstairs that the Beatles was in. I'm talking about the one like where they just do all the mixing. Yeah. The mix studio.
Right.
And the studio was not this big. It wasn't even this big. And I'm talking about including the booth.
At the radio station.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So Chris was in this little baby studio with one window, and had come to bring me this song. And they played it for me, and I was like, oh my God. And we recorded it that day.
He had the hook already too?
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did the bridge.
I saw the...
But yes, I did the bridge, but he had, that's my agent calling me. It definitely, it was one of them records where I was doing some shit talking, and I don't normally do that. That was
I saw you in the video. You seemed like you was having a lot of fun.
I was.
Yeah.
I ended up pretty much editing that video as well. Because it was a different side of Toya. People had always, seen me sad or in love. And this was like, swing batter. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a different side that I was excited to show for that album.
So it was Chris' idea to name the song She Ain't Got Shh. That was him. Okay, so, all right, I got a confession to make.
Oh, Lord, what happened?
I do not like cuss words in R&B music.
You don't?
I don't like cuss words in R&B music.
Why is that? Because y'all can cuss on y'all records,
I
but
know,
we can't cuss
it's
on
rap, it's street stuff. We look at it like it's different, right? It's the rap, it's the grit, it's the grime, it's rap, it's hip-hop. But when it comes to the R&B, I like the sensuality of R&B. I like the smooth, I like the soul, I like the suspense.
Have you heard my song called Regret? One of my favorite lyrics in the song is F-U-C-K.
Yeah.
And it's like the second or third thing I say. And when I put the mic out to the crowd, that's that's the phrase that they sing the most or the loudest. But I say it very sensual, if that helps.
Well, that's how I go with R&B though. Like you can say anything as long as you sing it. You can talk about anybody as long as you sing it.
It just better sound good.
Look, like it's like men, right? When men write R&B songs, when men write songs, period, men cannot get away too often with a song that's an anti-woman song, a song where he's like talking about leaving a woman and don't want to be with her anymore.
No.
It's got to be, so it's got to be one of them, I think you better leave alone. Get your bag and get the hell on. Because, it's got to be something like it's so dope. It's just so, it's got to be a juggernaut for a man to get away with it.
It does.
But a woman can just be like, nigga, fuck you.
Pretty much.
And just like that.
Because that's what we're used to. That's normally how the story goes. Yeah. So it makes sense. We don't, a lot of times, hear about men leaving women. Now, here's the thing. He might go out and cheat. But he might not leave a wife. He might have a side.
Right.
But he ain't leaving home. A lot of times, the wife is going to be, once she finds out what's going on, she's going to be the one to leave. So that's why those songs make sense. It doesn't, I would find it weird.
Why are women so quick to leave if women will universally say that they don't believe that a man is capable of monogamy? Most women will tell you right off the rip, well, I just don't trust men like that. I don't believe that men are monogamous.
I feel like I want to believe different. I feel like, I don't come into a relationship like just knowing that you're going to cheat or, that this is going to happen. Like, I want to believe that, this is a mutual thing, that we're going to stay faithful to each other. Nothing's going to be perfect, but at the same time, like, I want to know that the respect is going to be there. And, I always want to say, hey, man, you start feeling different about me. Hey, man, let me know. Let me get out your way. Don't do nothing crazy. I'm going to help you out. Like, just let me know. You start feeling a little different. Hey, man, I will introduce you to somebody. You want me to drive you to the date? But don't have me out here looking stupid. Don't humiliate me. Like, don't be disrespectful. Don't also be trying to play mind games with me. And when you're really the one that wants out and then you try and make it seem like I'm the one out here messing stuff up or, I ain't got it together, whatever it is. Like, don't play the mind games. Don't be disrespectful. Like, keep it cute, I do believe that monogamy can happen. I mean, I don't think that's for every man. I don't think every man is the same. I'm not going to come into a relationship going, he definitely going to cheat on me because that's just what men do. I want to believe something different. And call me naive, call me whatever, but I do want to believe that if I can, because who says a woman doesn't have the same desires? Like, who says a woman can't desire another man when they're in a relationship? We just choose to not act on it.
Well,
or we
some of y'all choose to not act
with
on it.
and some men. That's what I'm
saying. Women are closing the gap right now on the cheating.
They are.
They're closing the gap.
City girls are up. But I'm just saying, like, but I'm saying it's possible on both sides. But it's what you choose to do, man or woman. I'm going to choose to be faithful. I'm also going to choose to communicate if there's some, if there are thoughts that should not be occupying my mind or starting to occupy my mind, or we need to talk about some things. I think that people would rather go out and cheat than communicate how they really feel with their partner. I feel like people are afraid to actually tell someone how they're really feeling because they're afraid of hurting them. But I'm like, hurt me that way instead of going out and humiliating and hurting me. So now you got the humiliation because you cheated, and you got this woman being able to say, I slept with your man, or I've done this. Like, there are so many other things that come with the other way of doing it that we can just, hey, you didn't got to go through all that. Let's just have a conversation.
Your situation is more magnifying because you're Letoya Luckett cold.
And I have been publicly humiliated. And that just doesn't feel good. So if a woman get your man, she gonna be, that's the thing that a man need to know. Like, or anybody need to know that, especially that's dating a celebrity. Just know that anyway, but especially if you're dating a celebrity, they want to put it in your face. That, and they do.
Woo, 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 this is what I did, ha, 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 look at this. And boy, when that go down.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I ain't got time for the foolishness. Let's just cut all that. Let's just, hey, man.
Right.
If you ain't feeling it no more, let's be done. Yeah. And it's okay. Peace out. I love you so much that I would rather see you be happy and going with, in a direction, whether it be in an opposite direction of what we have now, that's fine. I would rather you do that than complicate our lives any further.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say you got a time capsule. You could put 3 things inside of that time capsule for your great, great, great grandchildren. What would it be? 3 things that you could put inside of that time capsule that could help your children, your great, great grandchildren, to have a better life.
Bible. Affirmations. When I was going through my journey after divorce, I wrote my affirmations on a mirror and lipstick, and I would look at them every day. And so I would definitely put affirmations in there, and I think pictures. Like, if it's a picture, if it's for my great-great-grandchildren, I would want a picture with me and my children so that they could see their grandmother or their great-grandma. You know what I mean? Like, I would want them to see me in one of my proudest moments, and that's as a mother, and then a wedding picture of me and Talio, as far as real love, happiness can happen. Things can turn around.
What about some money so that they don't have to end up back where you started?
Oh, I thought that was already going to be. How much can fit in the capsule? Because if I can't put a quarter, $1 in there.
How much? It to be.
Oh, we talking about, stack them up. Come
stack
on.
Them up.
Yeah, we need generational wealth. I just didn't know how much money was going to, how many bills was going to fit in the capsule. You got to be specific. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah. They can get it back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Letoya Luckett Cole, thank you for coming on the show, Letoya.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Yeah. It was fun. It was fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No more talk.